Përshëndetje miq dashamirë të nderuar. Unë jam Denis Gafuri, mirë se erdhët në kanalin tim në YouTube. Ju faleminderit. Çdo ditë përballemi me njerëz të cilët thonë se këtu nuk ka mundësi me pas sukses. Nuk mund të arrihet suksesi për shkak se nuk ka kushte, ka shumë probleme, nuk ka infrastrukturë, ka faj ai, ka faj shteti, ka faj prindi që s'ia kalon pasurinë. Edhe ankesat vazhdueshme deri në pafundësi. Disa thonë që njerëz të suksesshëm janë fatlum, disa të tjerë thonë që suksesin e kanë arrit nëpërmjet mënyrave të ilegale. Edhe të tjerët, në fundit, pirgënimi i madh janë dorëzuar që nuk ka më mundësi për me pas sukses këtë vend. Emisioni më i ri, Suksesi është qëllimi yt, pikërisht i trajton këto tematika. Do të flasim për pengesat dhe për vështirësitë e njerëzve të suksesshëm të cilat ne nuk i dim, ose i dim shumë pak fare. E kanë fjalën për kokdhimbjet, dështimet e njëpasnjëshme, refuzimet e tepërta, netët pa gjumë, mëngjese të hershme, tradhtit pas shpindes që bëhen, presioni i madh dhe shumë gjëra tjera që ndodhin. Por njerëz e suksesshëm kur nuk dorëzohen, ata çdo ditë përmirësohen, punojnë shumë, luftojnë, ndërmarrin rreziqe dhe përgjegjësi mbi vete. Mësojnë nga një mentor dhe arrin të gjitha këto, pavarësisht se gjithnjë ndjehen sikurse do të dorëzohen. Emisioni do të përmbajë këshilla të dobishme për të gjithë, pavarësisht moshës, gjinisë apo profesionit. Të ftuar do të kem shumë personalitete të dalluara, me profesione të ndryshme, të cilët do të ndajnë rrëfimet dhe këshillat nga përvojat e tyre personale. Njerëz të cilët gjithçka kanë arritur prej zeros dhe suksesin e kanë arritur me shumë sakrifisë dhe me punë të palodhshme. Na ndiqni çdo të premte dhe ju lutem mos harroni ta bëni like dhe subscribe në kanalin ton zyrtar në YouTube. Denis Gafuri, ju faleminderit. Përshëndetje të dashur miq dhe dashamirë. Ju faleminderit që po ndeshni në emisionin ton Suksesi është qëllimi yt, ku po ftojmë mysafirë të ndryshëm me qëllim që të mësojmë nga ata edhe këto gjëra të cilat ne po mësojmë të shtim në funksion në jetën tonë të përditshme. Flasim për tema super të rëndësishme, siç është fokusi i rinisë së sotme, si dhe ndërtimi i brendit personal në biznes. Deri në kënaqësi sot ta kem këtu me neve një ekspert të ndërmarrjeve të mesme dhe të vogla, i cili ka legjeruar në fakultetet më kryesore si në Sloveni ashtu edhe në Evropë. Ekspert të ndërmarrësisë, leadershipit dhe inovacionit, me mbi 31 vjet përvojë dhe ekspertizë në fushën e tij. Në zotëri, më lejoni ta ftoj sonte këtu me neve zotëri Jordan Beginc, i cili imërohet nga Ljubljana e bukur. Hello, good evening, Mr. Jordan Beginc. Thank you for sharing your time with us, to being with us in our podcast, Success is Your Goal.
Good evening, Denis, and good evening, përshëndetje, the followers of Denis Gafuri social media. I'm very pleased to be with you.
It's an honor to have you, my friend, here with us to share your experience and your knowledge with my awesome audience. Jordan, will you please explain to us a short biography of yours, of your successes in your career?
Thank you. It will be very short. Actually, I have started my entrepreneurial career just 31 years ago. 1 year earlier, I used to work as a freshman as a reporter in one business magazine, and later on, I was actually applied for a job in Nova Ljubljanska banka, but actually, one book have changed my orientation in my career. That was a book at my master degree level, which title is Entrepreneurship Education. The author is 𝗗𝗘𝗡𝗟, American professor, famous American, still alive, and actually I was so impressed in that time that I came to one of my schoolmates at the master degree, and we have started the chat what to do in the year, it was the year 1988, and I came to idea why not to start a training center for entrepreneurs. various target group of entrepreneurs. And that was actually the reason that I quitted my current job in that time. And of course, of my colleagues and friends and parents, they told me, "You are crazy. Why are you are trying to throw the white bread, you know, and why you are leaving the best job and the very high wage, etc." But it's always in life, when you feel opportunity is coming, you know, you have to catch it. And of course, you need to feel for the opportunity. That's why how we came, my colleague ran in that time the computer company, I mean IT company, and they were created like one accountancy software. And actually that company started to incubate later on 𝗗𝗚𝗡 College, which is known for many today as a faculty, is known to many students from Kosovo. And actually I have spent there 13 years. 13 years. I went through different functions. I mean, as a developer, as a director of the program, later on as the first dean, as a pro dean, as a director of the company, etc., etc. But later on, of course, once you feel you are young and you want to catch all the world, of course, you are looking for other opportunities. And then one day it came to me, "Oh, Jordan, it's time to go abroad somewhere." In the meantime, I was looking for some opportunities in China. Why? Because I used to be a professor to a small group of Chinese students here in Slovenia. And it came to my mind, why not to continue my career in China? And I went there for a few times in Beijing and Shanghai and some other provinces, just because it was a big challenge, you know, to work with many chamber of commerce, and I gave a lot of study courses to some Chinese universities. And of course, it's not easy to change the culture, because once you adapt to one culture, European, old Yugoslav culture or Balkan culture, you came to the very strange, unfamiliar culture like Chinese culture. And of course, it was not easy. And then I came back and I continue with some other project in Russia, Indonesia, and even in United States, in Canada. And finally, I came to Kosovo as well for 4 years. And some 13 years ago, actually, I have started to work for various European projects as a technical support. So more or less, my career goes to entrepreneurship, innovation, startups, technologies, and of course design management, because in the last 10 years I'm engaged with the Faculty of Design as an associate, part-time as an associate professor, and here we are.
Would you please, Jordan, tell us what kind of habit that you developed made you to have success during your career?
More or less, we know we should go back to the kind of psychology theories, and of course everyone of us is born with a certain amount of different temperament and characteristics and competencies which goes together from your roots of your family. Finally, you should consider partly even your family and of course the environment. I usually provoke in this way young entrepreneurs in a way, what would happen if Bill Gates or Steve Jobs was born in Kosovo, in Pristina, you know? What would be the result? And of course, many are starting to think, you know, oh, would be he successful or not? I don't know. I'm not so sure, because of corruption, because of the different culture, etc. So more or less, we need to consider a lot, even environment, and of course, finally, the luck. it's not easy, I mean, for everyone. If whenever I'm circled nowadays among technology-oriented startups, they are not happy just because they don't find the right partners or team members for their companies. And of course, you need to really have a good luck finally to find the right person in the right time, in the right place, to start together, and of course to be fully committed and commitment, passion for your idea, no matter if this is social oriented idea or let's say that you calculate only profit. You know, you need to be really 100% committed to this idea and put yourself like 120% of your time and your effort, you know, and all your talent, you know, to do something out of this idea.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Jordan, can you please tell us about the mistakes during your career that you have made?
Of course, everyone, it is in human nature that we are doing a lot of mistakes. I remember my entrepreneurial career at 𝗗𝗘𝗡𝗣𝗑 College. When I used to work for the first European project, we got a tender as a company, and I was responsible as a project manager to run a group of some 10 local consultants, like trainers and mentors, you know, for SMEs, for small and medium-sized enterprises in one region in Slovenia. And of course, we came like a family. You know, we trusted to each other. And finally, I shared with them in the end of the 2 years project, I shared with them all financial statements, like profit scale. And of course, I said that was our profit. We share it that way. And then, of course, the board of directors came to me. Don't do ever this mistake. You should not trust the financial statement, especially income statement to our colleagues, subcontractors, you know. But I said, more or less, they know how to calculate, you know. They were calculating all of the time how much money came to our company and how much, what was the output of the cash out, you know, for them. In this way, so this was one, let's say, one big mistake from my side. Of course, I could be sorrow even when I study for 1 year my PhD preparation in Boston at Babson College and partly at Harvard Business School. In year 95, I was a friend of mine from Slovenia, who was one professor there in Boston, helped me to provide a scholarship, not there at the elite business school, but at the Ohio State University in Cleveland. And I had a finally opportunity to start my PhD study there, you know, in the United States, in Cleveland. But in the meantime, the board of directors of 𝗗𝗘𝗡𝗣𝗑 College have sent the director in that time to convince me and negotiate and convince me to come back and to take care for the new established faculty as a dean and a director. And of course, then, you know, I changed my mind, and of course I came back to Slovenia and took responsibility for new company.
What was your hardest decision to make during your career? What was your hardest decision to make during your career? Can you please share with us?
I think there are many, of course, not easy, especially, for example, it came to me one offer some 18 years ago. The state secretary of the government came to me and said, we respect you, blah, 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 and we want you to be in charge of one new established government foundation for scholarship to study abroad. And of course, I was in dilemma because in board of directors in that time, there were 7 ministers and the president used to be the prime minister. Practically, my board of directors were the strongest one in the country. Even then, the prime minister became then the president of the country. So in the meantime, I mean,
You have a good connection.
my bosses. Yeah. So I had the strongest board of directors in the whole country. But on the other hand, of course, I was not happy because they put to me many pressures. In a way, you should help to this guy, to this politician, to that guy. And, you know, it was not a good time. And I went through many very hard stress. And that was the most stressful job that I spent there for 2 years. And of course, after 2 years, it was an opportunity to go out. And then I went to Indonesia with pleasure. That was a hard decision. On the other hand, if I consider private matters, then once you have a family and you are married with the small children, it's not easy to say just, oh, by the way, I got a new opportunity, job opportunity or project opportunity abroad, no matter this is Turkey or Kosovo or somewhere closer, you know, and I need to go to live there, you know, it's not easy to make such a decision, because all decisions have some pluses and some minuses, some strengths and some weaknesses. And this is the thing that probably everyone who cope with the career, managerial career or project management career, cope more or less all of the time.
Exactly. Jordan, can you please share with us your opinion about young millennials and about their perspective for their future? Because we have this kind of issues, I think same as here is in Slovenia, in Serbia, in Albania, and everywhere. They seem like confused. They don't know what to do for their future, or most of them, they want to get rich, get millionaires through the night. So can you please share your experience and your suggestions, what we should do and on what should they focus to achieve their success in life?
Yeah, of course, even for this question, it's not easy to give in one sentence. You should consider, first of all, that millennials are really different in values, value system, values list, comparing to our generation. I'm still part of the baby boom generation like you are. And then it's coming Z and Y and so on. And of course, we don't share the same values because more or less I'm father. One of my role is as well, I'm a father, and I could easily say that we went through much more tough system, you know, like working for everything, hard work, and I could say that one of my advantage in my life, working life, was always that I was pleased to challenge the hard work. So hard work for older generation, it's not a problem. Once you compare the same habits with the millennials, you will not find it just like that, you know, because they are taking the life in much more easier way. You know why? Because the materialistic standard is pretty high. I would not compare it Slovenian with Kosovo, not American standard or Austrian standard with our Slovene standard, but we all follow GDP, etc. But on the other hand, you see, it's much more, you can find general millennial in a comfort zone. So comfort zone, it's mean, okay, I don't need to care because someone else care for me. You know, when we joke, like older parents, we always joke, you know, what is the most important thing for millennials? Of course, they say the fridge, you know, because in the fridge they can take the food. So the fridge could be their friend. But because I'm dealing mainly most of the time on daily level with millennials, and I really love them, and I joke with them, and we laugh together with my students, and I share a lot of things with my assistants and young startups where I'm a mentor. I just want to tell that we talk all of the time how to change something, you know, that he or she could be much more focused on achievement, you know, what kind of achievements, you know. Of course, achievements are usually connected with the goals, and goals are connected with your aspiration, ambition, what do you want to achieve in your life. But finally, if I can see many startups, you know, they just quit out of their business in 1 year. And then, even though they got some subvention from the government, and then once I exchanged with them, what was the reason? What was the problem? Oh, it was not easy. I asked, I trust to my friends, and we didn't come together. And one of my friends just quit it without any reason or explanation. So you can see that one of the things in there, of course, they are young, and if I can put myself in their shoes when I was 22, 23, 25, of course you behave like a child, like a very childish, what is reasonable. But because their personality is still not ready to be self-sustained, independent, to earn enough money to pay the monthly rent for the flat, whatever. And of course, but what I can notice, it's the level of commitment to their idea. So the level of commitment is very important. When you compare with someone who is successful, he or she will always say, oh, I am pleased that I came. It's not easy. I work very hard. But I do believe, no matter I have no money, I still didn't come to the break-even point. But I am two years in my business, and now COVID, pandemia problem. I cannot find enough clients, customers, buyers, but they do believe. They are committed to the idea, and once you are committed, it means that you put a lot of energy. That's similar like between one girlfriend and boyfriend. If they really love each other, the commitment erases, you know. And once the commitment to each other, no matter if someone you don't agree with your wife, with your girlfriend, you know, you are committed, and you say, okay, I am thinking a little bit different how to solve this problem, but I will support you, you know. So this commitment level is extremely important, because you put a lot of energy, average energy or very low energy in your task. So that's why I think commitment connected with your, let's say, ambition, with your goal, with your aspiration, or with your vision, you know, it's very important how you manage.
Excellent. I would like to make I would like to make a note about this comfort zone that you just mentioned about this young millennials. I also mention this when I conduct my trainings and seminars. I say that I take an example of the comfort zone. How does the comfort zone destroys companies, destroys people, and so on. There is a saying that the alligator is a kind of big crocodile that lives in USA, in Miami, Florida, and they say that the alligator is very dangerous species. So when it's hungry, when it is hungry, there is no other animals are around. When it gets the food, it gets a kind of paralyzed. So it gets in the comfort zone. So even a kid can go there and play with it. Imagine. So this is how I explain to them that if we get to the comfort, we have to be non-stop hungry. We have to be non-stop focused in achievement and give maximum so we can achieve maximum results. Because we cannot stay, if we have achieved, for example, until the 15th, the goal that we should achieve in sales by the end of the month, and you will say, no, it's good, I'm confident now, you're dead then. You must give more, you can achieve more and more and more non-stop. So this comfort zone, I absolutely agree with you, that is one of the main habits that the new millennials have now, these generations of young kids. Jordan, can you please, you mentioned about the creativity. I would like you to talk more about creativity, how the kids, the youngsters, should focus their creativity and develop something new.
So just a little one comment I would like to add to your very interesting challenge about millennials and this comfort zone. I think we should differentiate two different aspects how young people approach to one desired, let's say, ambition that they want to achieve it. Some of the youngest say, I know I will succeed, and that's it. I know I will succeed. So the second one is telling the same, I know I will succeed. But the second one is taking measures and the plan every day, like step by step, what I should do and what I should learn to achieve my goal, So, but the first one is when you meet him or her, you ask how far you are with your idea. I know, I don't worry, I need time. I will succeed, with my idea. Okay. And then the second one, you follow exactly. He will come to you and say, oh, I made a small research survey. I went and I spoke with 10 clients, potential clients. And I'm really surprised because they said they would never buy my service, because they don't care about my idea, So I think I should go deeper, and I need to redesign, reshape, reorganize, etc. etc. I need to learn. So one of the aspects, modern aspect everywhere, and this is part of the learning theory, is of course you need to, if I want to be a pilot, it's not enough just to wish every day before I go to sleep. I said, oh, I can see, I can visualize myself how I'm flying, Yeah, and the next day you will do zero. You will do nothing about further steps. But one very responsible person will take measures, will take steps, what to do, what to learn. He or she will go to the library, he will take some books, and learn about the sector, about the technology, etc. So this is the big difference between people who are just dreaming, and then by the end of the day they become frustrated. Why? Because they didn't achieve their dreams. And of course, we should say that they put illusions instead of let's say the realistic vision. So illusion is is different than realistic vision. And that's why I think I really respect young people, especially millennials, who are eager to take responsibility and to learn something. Just for example, I can see even in Slovenia, all my millennials have one bad habit, that they don't ask nothing, you know. In the end of the session, I always, or mentorship or lecturing, I always ask, do we have any question concerning this and this and this topic? Zero. Nobody asked nothing, you know. When I was in China, when I was in US, when I was in Indonesia, you know, each time I asked, 70% of the students came up with the hand, you know, because they want to ask, hey, how about this? How about that? You know, what do you think about this? What's your opinion? So they want to learn. They want to learn from someone who is maybe, in their view, smarter than they are at the moment. And if you talk with the millennials today, they will ask someone, but only the same generation with zero experiences. They are not wise. You know, if you are on a Facebook, you will ask your friends which are on the list of the Facebook. And these are not older generation, they are young generation. So what can you learn from them? Maybe some ideas, but not more. No experiences, no nothing. So I always advise young people to learn, to ask a lot of questions when they meet someone who can help them, you know, because one of the weakest point of millennials is because they don't know how to create live network of subcontractors, buyers, could be suppliers, could be professors, could be whoever, you know, local politician, NGOs, civil society, no matter who. It depends of your interest, but they don't create network in that way. They just think that they are in Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn, and they think that they are the best. No, this network, if I don't meet ever you in life, I don't know how to trust to you. How can I switch to the empathy level? We know what is empathy, and we feel with empathy. We engage our emotions, you know. So I need to touch you with my eyes, you know, and get impression who you are, you know. And this is something, these social skills or social intelligence is maybe for millennials underestimated.
I think that I have, same as here in Kosovo too. I think that I got the impression that they know everything. When you start saying something to them, yes, I know. Yeah, okay, well, if you know, do you practice that? No, I don't, but I know. So if you do not practice that, but I know, so no zero.
If I don't know, I will ask Google.
Yeah, exactly. Jordan, would you please?
About creativity, about just short explanation about creativity. I'm sorry that we went. Just 3 moments are very important when we deal with creativity potential of each individual. First, we need to know that every one of us is born with a certain amount of creative capacities, creative talents, you know. And maybe once you are growing up in your family, your father, mother, grandfather, grandparents could tell you, oh, you know how to sing, you are very good in singing, you know. Or maybe you have a talent for music, or you have a talent for drawing, or you have a talent to analyze something, or you are very good in math, you know. It depends. So there are certain capacities that, of course, you brought once you are born, you know. Secondly, it's capacities or competencies which are connected with creativity and innovation potential through your education and through your environment issue, you know. And finally, you need to experience, of course. You start to work and you see how good you are in drawing. Maybe you are not good architect, you know. Maybe you would be better in to start to work in one accountant office. It depends. And finally, the third factor is actually intrinsic motivation. And we usually deal with two types of motivation. One is extrinsic, that means it's coming from environment, and say, hey, can you do something for me? I will pay you, you know? Like try to sing one song for me, I will pay to you, you know? But then it's very important that you should understand that you should feel for the best creative acts in the world. People are not forced from outside to do this, but they were motivated in intrinsic way. That's mean from inner source. So they need to feel for something, and this is connected with what I said earlier, with the commitment for idea, you know, so they need to feel for idea. And every time, for example, in last 10 years or 15 years, I often deal or I'm part of, let's say, selective committee for startups, business ideas, and you can easily switch even through online. You can easily see and feel someone who is strongly committed and for his or her or the team innovative or creative idea. So this is done by heart.
Would you please shortly explain how can we build our business image, personal business image for our company? But briefly, please.
Yeah, I mean, many people are walking around and they like to share with other people and say, oh, people know me that I'm very business oriented, or I'm a highly respected entrepreneur, etc., etc. But personal brand is very similar to the corporate brand. Of course, it's very important once you talk about the personal brand, it's who you are, actually who you are. Do you know what exactly are your advantages, your weaknesses? And secondly, what you stand for what do you want to thrive and fight in your life? And of course, the values you want to embrace. And you should know, you should list at least 3 to 5 values to other side and said, oh, by the way, if you ask me, my first value is commitment, or entrepreneurship, or whatever, or creativity, or innovation, or high quality. It depends, and it goes in that way, similar like in corporate brand. First, you need to know who you are, and this is not easy to answer, because once you are very young, you don't know much about how will you change your let's say values, because we are changing some values. Basic values are usually staying the same for all life, but some of the values we change. For example, if we move today Mr. Denis Gafuri to the Singapore, I'm pretty sure that they will push, the environment will push you to think about the business 24 hours per day. You know, it's all about business in Singapore, you know. But once you are in PEA, you know, you don't need to care about the business all of the time, you know. So your values are a little bit different. Family, friends, relatives, etc. So we are changing, and that's why you should really know how to express yourself to other people, especially once you are part of different business events. If you go on, of course, you should determine what you want to be known for. That means somehow you need to know exactly what kind of image you would like to have in the business environment. Not just in a way how nice you are wearing and you follow the latest trend, and all ladies talk nice things about you. That has nothing to do with your really real orientation. They should know that you are good in some, let's say, skills like analytical, that you could be a good manager, that you could be a good developer, that you could be a good, I don't know, provider of some material. It depends, or commercialist or promoter, etc. So it's very important in our life that we should know and define. Next stage is to define the target group or the segment. Like in marketing, we say segment. Which segment you prefer more? For example, older generation, retired people, or you say, no, people who are in public administration, or maybe young businessmen, or maybe old managers. It depends. So you should select slowly your target group. Why? Because you should do something out of your target group. You should start to communicate with them. You should not say everyone is important for me, and then you ask even the person who is now 90 years old, is he or she important for you? No, I don't care about elderly. I care just about people who have money. Oh really? What kind of people do you mean? Rich people who sell the drugs, you know, and smuggling, or maybe people who are really earning money in a professional way. So I think you should make a selection of your target group and audience, and this is important. The next thing is that you should, every one of us should be on a long term specialized in one sector. Could be IT, could be like you are doing in commercial and marketing and sales, or could be aircraft, or could be defense industry, could be supply chain, could be wood processing. So every one of us, if they ask you, where you are, it doesn't matter that you are a specialist, but you should know more about one sector than other sector. For example, textile, a lady who is running for 20 years one boutique in the center of Pristina, she's a professional on textile sector. Okay, not just design and fashion, but even the textile supply chain, etc., etc. So the next thing is, of course, you if you want to establish a good reputation of your own, let's say, brand who is walking every day among the people, you should start to connect with the right people, not with the politicians. I don't think that, because the cycle of politicians is in this way, you know, 4 years they are up, and then finally, after 4 years mandate, you know, they are out, and you don't have any benefit of them. But if you consider like handicraft, or women entrepreneurs, or young entrepreneurs, or managers, it's very important that you put yourself like a plan and say, okay, once per month I will follow one business club in my neighborhood. Like I'm doing here in Slovenia, I'm usually the guest of many managerial clubs, or a club of entrepreneurs or young startups. It doesn't matter who. Of course, now in COVID time, we are much more online, but I'm following once, twice per week. I'm following different like seminars or workshops. Once I'm the listener, the next time I'm trying to provide some ideas. And so you should make a plan to start to create your own network of the previous, what I told about the target group. So you should know, like we say, VIP people, but VIP people of your sector, not VIP people, I don't know, politicians. And of course, once you are with them, you start to talk with them. You ask for references. You say, okay, can you recommend me to someone who is able to provide me this and this and this, but you don't ask all of the time, because it's very easy. I have noticed in Kosovo, oh, please help me, try to connect me with someone who will help me, you know. Hey, come on, you should be prepared to give something, you know.
Yeah.
So without giving, you cannot accept, or you cannot get. So it's a reverse system, you know. If you ask for a support, for a recommendation letter, then you should say, okay, I will help you, Mr. Bayram, in that way that my cousin will help you to, let's say, renew the website or social media, let's say, image, etc. So every one of us should look how to one favor, you know, to give back this favor in different way. No matter, maybe with coffee break, whatever. But don't come to someone and say, hey, please, Dennis, help me, and then I lost, you know, you lost connection with me for all of your life, you know. That's not good. That's not the network. Then the next thing is you should prepare yourself or train yourself to become better and better in your, what Americans say, elevator pitch. That's mean how to present, promote yourself in front of the let's say, those people who could be helpful to you, you know. It's not just like to come with the tie and say hello and here is my latest Rolex watch, you know, and I have Armani shoes, you know. This is not the way. I think that your image, your way of communication, your way of behavior, your way of negotiation, etc., etc. For example, I'm working a lot with students, designers, you know, and you can imagine how how much designers put in their clothes, you know.
Yeah.
They come in a very alternative way, and I say, okay, what do you think? It is important to adapt to majority. For example, one company in Pea, Devoli, is inviting you as a designer to come for a short meeting, and maybe you will talk about how to renew the logotype of the company, blah, 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 you know. And you come, you don't care about the clothes, you don't care about the culture of this company, you don't care, you don't even ask how old they will be, you don't know nothing. And you come there on the meeting and you participate totally unprepared. And this is not professional. So I'm trying, one of my study courses, business communication, and I'm trying to convince them, you know, to be really, really questionable, and they need to, from around race, gather a lot of information about the company they are entering. So never underestimate the culture of the other side, no matter corporate culture, behavior culture, values, etc. You should go to the social media website and study everything, because they will ask you something. So be prepared. This is very important, and try to give the good impression in your communication. And then finally, when you get a good feedback from their side, it's enough to say, we like you. I think we will continue our collaboration. That's good. Then once you finish the project, they will give you the contract. You are finished. You say, can I ask you for one short letter of recommendation? And they will give you and say, Mr. Nusret Vitia was really done the great job for us. He did this and this and this, and I would recommend. Why? Because he's very creative, he's very innovative, he has a great view about this and knowledge, blah blah blah. So, I mean, you should then gather some of these letters. And once you are trying to get the new project, you know, it's much easier to show the letters from the company, previous company. And this is something that I think millennials usually don't do it. You know, they don't care about recommendation letter. And finally, Now we are in the period of this pandemia, COVID-19, and it's not enough just to be present in a Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and you say, here I am, let's read my article, etc. No, opposite. You should stimulate other people who are following you and talk with them. Talk with them. Don't promote yourself in a way, oh, I have the best service, I'm the best consultant, I'm the best trainer, I'm the best, my product is better than American one. You know, you should talk with them. And once you raise the image of your personal brand, they know you exactly how they know how to weight you, you know, in all references, and how good you are as a communicator. They will start to trust you, and suddenly they will start to recommend you through the social media. They will say, go to Bayram, and you will not be disappointed. I know the guy, he's fair, he's ethical, he's professional, and a good guy. I always like him to chat with him, you know, about various topics. And he's not like a promoter, what we say, a narcissist, you know, narcissist, you know, like, wow, I'm the best, we are the best, you know, we are the most successful. And then you ask him, how old are you? He will say, you know, he will reply, 23 years old, you know. So in this way, I think that you should really care how to approach, not to push other people in commercial way, buy from me, you know, not from him, but talk with them, exchange with them. Each time try to give them a kind of learning experience. What did you learn today? Share with them. That's the right approach.
Jordan,
okay, then.
Thank you very much for sharing with us all your experience, all the knowledge. Hvala lijepa I laku noć.
Thank you. Thank you.
Për të më ndihmuar që të bëj më tepër kësi podcasta të mira, të mrekullueshme, ju lutem e bëni like, share, subscribe dhe komentoni mendimet e juaja më poshtë.